guys, it is Tristan with Nerdette's Newsstand, and I want to talk and go into the subject of gatekeeping again. Now, this was kind of an inspired video, I would say, by Comics by Perch, who did a video stating that gatekeeping was basically not real, right? And I want to preface this video by saying I like Perch a lot. There's no disrespect here. Everybody, every once in a while, is allowed to be 100% wrong. Now, I have come up with 5 really simple ways that comic books and comic book media gatekeep. And not just the fans. I'm talking about this as a whole. Comic book professionals to the entitled fan. So we're going to go through it. I just want to reiterate, no disrespect whatsoever, right? Okay. So let's talk about one form of gatekeeping done by the industry itself. And this one's really simple. Price, right? The price point of some of these books are inherently gatekeeping. Now, you have books out there like Saga that are able to be priced at $2.99, no variant covers, and still sell really well. But then you've got Action Comics by Philip Kennedy Johnson, which is phenomenal. But the moment it moved from Bendis to Philip Kennedy Johnson, it went up $1 to $4.99. There was no reason for that, and it caused people to drop said title. It is one of the most pirated books, along with Jeremy Adams' Flash. It is pirated more than it is bought. And that is telling you that people are enjoying it, but that price point is gatekeeping them from actually buying the book. There is a lot of kids out there that may be more interested in runs like Jeremy Adams' very familial and wholesome Flash run, but when you're overcharging, you are at an editorial or a company standpoint gatekeeping potential fans. Now, I forgot to say this in the beginning because I'm really bad about it. Hit like, hit subscribe. Let me know if you think gatekeeping is real. It's a simple question. Is gatekeeping real? Now, let's go into another point done by the industry. One that Perch himself has talked about. And this is more editorial based, or the people that are making decisions at the company. And that is gatekeeping solid writers because they are old-fashioned, or solid artists because they are old-fashioned. People like Chuck Dixon, who has amazing runs on stuff in the 90s, in the 2000s. He's an amazing writer. I don't think anyone can really disagree with that objectively, right? He's amazing. Walt Simonson, John Byrne. These people are gatekept because they are old-fashioned, so to speak. And honestly, there are people out there that crave that, meaning you're losing potential customers. It is inherently gatekeeping. Now, I know a lot of you guys are going to say out there is also a conservative-based gatekeeping in the industry. I'll just throw that out there. I don't know necessarily that it's real. I haven't seen a whole lot of evidence of it, but there's definitely a left leaning in the whole comic medium. And you know what? We see it kind of in action when we really we have some, but we don't have the more open conservatives, right? And you know what? You can be okay with that. That's totally fine. So I want to talk about the fandom a little bit. We're going to go into gatekeeping in the fandom. You always are going to have the vitriol, right? The entitled fandom, the true fan, so to speak, or the knowledge-based gatekeeping. This happens all the time. I've actually spoken about this when it comes to He-Man and the Masters of the Universe when we had the new Kevin Smith reboot, and I enjoyed it. Oh my God, the world ended, and I got no true fan would ever enjoy this. You are not a true fan. This is a form of gatekeeping. Is it stopping me from enjoying it? No, of course not. But it's a way to maybe disparage feelings that are positive. It's a way to disparage people from liking that. And it's not necessarily, I guess I could say not necessarily off-putting, but it can be to some people. I have really thick skin, fortunately, sometimes, depending, but not everyone does. Not everyone can take that over and over again. In this video, in every video I make, I will get comments very similar to that, the entitled fan. And I even have based merch off of it, right? You're playing with our toys wrong. I've likened stuff like Batman to our toys. You're playing with them wrong. I've done it too. So I can't say that it's not done by everyone at some time. But you definitely have that very entitled fan base in a lot of different, not just comics. You have it in anime. You have it in stuff like BTS. You have it everywhere. And unfortunately, it's very off-putting to some of the fans. Now, this is one we've discussed over and over again, right? This is one we've kind of went deep dives into. And that is the form of gatekeeping, more political junkies, I guess we could call them, or the groupthink. And that is the political junkie who really jumps at the opportunity to remind fans of their political leanings and why the other side is bad. For a long time, we got this kind of notion that comics weren't political ever before 5 years ago. You had a lot of people, keep your politics out of our comics. Keep this. Politics, Overton's window has shifted. It shifted further left, and that is deemed more acceptable nowadays. So what you're telling me is you didn't either A, notice the politics in stuff like Static Shock with the racism and bigotry that was taught in that cartoon, or you're telling me that you don't like the politics now. Usually when someone says, keep your politics out of my book, it's because they are politically different. And unfortunately, that has kind of become a mainstay for a lot of people's arguments, even though it's easily debatable. But if you don't like the politics, then it's probably something that's changed within you. Now, are politics more heavy-handed in some books? I would say yes. If you're reading like on Image, there's a book called Home, or Bylines of Blood. But if you're talking about my forte, DC Comics, I can't think of a book that has very heavy-handed politics. Now, if you're going to be one of those people that say being queer is political, then maybe Nubia and the Amazons. But other than that, there's not. Maybe Son of Kal-El. So you're talking, even if we say those two books are political because you think being queer is somehow political, that is 2 books out of probably 60, which DC puts out a month, and I'm going low with 60. So what are we looking at? Less than, about 3%, 4% of the books. How is that saying all of these books need to burn because they're all political? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. A lot of it comes from, I'm gonna pull the entitled fandom card here. A lot of it comes from the lack of knowledge, the lack of actually knowing what's going on in these books, right? So this is a big one. This is a huge one. And this is also one that kind of roots for more gatekeeping. And I'm against all types of gatekeeping. I want everyone to feel welcome here. But if you are here, you're going to also feel challenged. I'm going to try and attempt to make you think about both sides, all 4 sides, 17 sides of one situation. We're going to go into it, right? So I do have one more, and that is something that I've experienced a lot. That is something that I've heard a lot. And that is kind of I'm going to combine them here. Fake Geek Girl and Diversity Hire. These are 2 that are thrown out there to dehumanize a person in order to make them seem like they are not qualified for either, talking about comics or working in comics. You get the Fake Geek Girl stuff. I get the fake geek girl stuff. I used to get it more. I will be honest. I think my audience is extremely respectful. Honestly, I have the best audience on YouTube. Not going to lie. I'm just going to brag a little bit. They're the best. But I don't really get it from anyone like that. I have had to ban people for insults and stuff along the lines. But as of right now, I don't get it near as much. Now, I used to get it in shop very rarely. If, when I was very young, when I was just getting into comics, I would, go on the recess ground and I would play with the kids. Nobody cared. I once went and do it like, who's your favorite Robin? Oh, well, there's more than one. Like, I was like 9. I'm like, there's more than one. Yes. And then you tell me a story about all the, the different Robins. That's how you handle that situation. You go, ha, 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 ha. You didn't know at 9 years old or 10 years old that there was more than one Robin. You're a fake geek girl. Like, that kind of stuff just didn't happen. And now it does. And it's become part of the discourse surrounding comics and comic book medium. And there's also, of course, the diversity hire, which I mentioned. And it's, again, a way to dehumanize these people to seem like they are less of or not qualified for the position. And there are, in certain situations, probably people that are hired for their identity, but just because they're hired for their identity doesn't mean they're not as qualified as the person that was also being looked at for that position. It doesn't mean they're not qualified for that position. And until you prove that they're not qualified for that position, I'm going to take it as a kind of bullshit argument in that situation. And it's all the time. And specifically with people like Vita Ayala or Mariko Tamaki. Mariko has been doing so good on Detective Comics. One of the books that is solidly at least a 7 every week, at least a 7. And now it's getting even better that Batman's back. I think that was thrown at her editorially, and she kind of had to work it when it came to Psycho Pirate. So I'm glad to see the stories that she's telling. Vita Ayala, I am less familiar with. Her static for me kind of dropped off. It started off very strong. Her Nubia and the Amazons did the exact same thing. Her tie-ins with the trial of the Amazons were very strong. It was actually Becky Cloonan and Michael Conrad was the issue that I thought wasn't very well done. So again, until you prove to me that these people are fake geek girls, diversity hires, whatever you're trying to otherize them as, then I'm gonna kind of be like, maybe you're wrong on this situation. Just maybe they're just fans and gatekeeping is real. And unfortunately, we all look at it and look at each other and judge. And that at the beginning of the day is the problem. We need to stop judging so much and we need to start accepting. But that acceptance is very rare, especially when it comes to the online subculture of comics. Now, will it change? Probably not. And that's why I had to get thicker skin. But to say that gatekeeping is not real is completely incorrect, not only from a fan standpoint, but from a company standpoint. Gatekeeping is an issue. You can talk about the issues that it brings up, but to deny it is really honestly kind of silly in my idea. So I wanted to talk about this a little bit. Let me know, of course, what you think down below if you're one of those people that think we need more gatekeeping. Oh my God, those damn SJWs. Or if you're one of those people that are like, yeah, I've been called those things, but I love comic books, so I'm going to keep reading and I'm going to enjoy it. That's where I'm at. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.